So simple overview, guys. First important is what is an operating system, okay, and about an operating system and architecture of operating system. Generally, what is kernel and what is shell? Okay, different types of operating systems and what is meant by desktop operating system, server operating system. Difference between Windows and Linux. Okay, so these are the basics of operating system. It comes to the Windows 10, guys, about Windows 10 features. Because of there is a not only small, there is huge difference between Windows 7 and 8. Windows 7 to 8, there is a differences. 8 to 10, there is some differences. So mainly specific Windows 10 features we'll discuss. In Windows 11, maybe one or two things are added, but most of the things we discuss in Windows 10 wise only. Okay, some features are available in both 8 and 10 also. Okay, some are features we will discuss. Windows 10 editions, basic requirements to install a Windows 10. Okay, what is meant by activation and licensing methods? What is meant by upgrade and migrate? Okay, so you know already what is a system configuration kind of stuff. So that is already we discussed, so we know it. To maintain a Windows operating system, we should know some run commands, control panel commands, and some commands for a disk management and all kind of stuff. And I showed already disk management earlier. So I already have told about this disk management part. Next, what is meant by registry? So how to see the registry kind of stuff. What is meant by services? How to change service? Okay. So what is meant by startups? So last class I discussed how to improve your system process, how to disk cleanup and all we discuss. But if possible, again I will try to show you. Application related issues. Application related issues. What is BSOD? What is safe mode? What is system restoration? Okay, what is system restoration? How to enable system restoration? Okay, that's we will see. Okay, so order may be different, guys, from PPT to what are the I am going to give a notes. Okay, if possible, I will try BitLocker. Other than this one, guys, there is a shared folders, adding a printers, sharing a printer, this kind of stuff. Also, I will try to add. Okay. So what is meant by operating system? So here also we have to search for a where this operating system things I have written like this. So I am copying from here. Okay, of course there is a specific reason. What is the reason it is? What are the issues, mistakes I have done in a earlier? So that's any mistakes, mistaken wise I will write in. So that is I try to. Alright, okay. So today is a 1st May. Not next year. Still we are in 23. It is showing very small letters. We'll put like this. So previously from PPT or without forgetting anything, just I'm trying to put it here. Guys, what is an operating system? We have a hardware. What is the hardware? A physical device it is. So what is the noise? Okay. So try to mute. Okay. So you have a hardware. What is meant by hardware here? Your CPU, your RAM, of course, your motherboard items, okay, your hard disk, or a SSD. Nowadays, we are using SSDs, right? Maybe SSD. NICs, your network interface cards, your keyboard connectors, everything. These are all hardware devices. So it's a physical components or a hardware. Without a hardware, with hardware means with the support of hardware, we have to run an application. You want to run an application, you need a hardware. But we cannot run any applications. We cannot interact with the PC directly with the hardware only. Directly, you can't interact with the hardware. I want to run a process, I can't run directly on a processor. So I need an interface between them. So user has to interact with the computer and user want to run an application. User want to interact with a piece system. To interact with the system, they need an interface. And once the interaction is there, you want to run an application. For example, I'm running a paintbrush. Without interface, I can't open a paintbrush. To run the paintbrush application, I need a operating system. So user cannot directly use hardware. It's a physical, we cannot, don't know how to speak their languages, how to write a binary code of a kind of stuff directly on the hardware. So we need an operating system to interact to the our hardware. So user interacts with the operating system with the user interface. User can able to run different type of applications on the operating system. Operating system provide the environment to run an application. I'm running a this Google Chrome browser. So where this Chrome browser is running? On the operating system. Operating system is providing that environment to run. Without operating system, we can't run an applications or there is no user interface. Okay. So without hardware, you can't run anything. That's the difference between hardware and software, hardware and operating system. Without hardware, there is not even a system. You can't run anything. So if you have hardware only, so you cannot do anything with it. So compulsory you need a interface between user and this hardware. There's something is required called an operating system. To run an application, to provide a environmental support to the run an application, to provide a user interface, operating system is required. Where it is, that is. So operating system is a software which acts as an interface between end user and computer hardware. Every computer must have at least one OS to run other operating system. Every computer must have at least one OS to run other programs. Application like a Chrome, MS Word, gaming, like what are the application, Chrome browser or maybe Microsoft Teams, you Word, Excel, PowerPoint, or you want to play games, you want to run a Java program, you want to write a Python program, but we need some environment which is run and perform this task. Operating system helps you to communicate with the computer without knowing how to speak computer language. You don't require to know the binary language or hexadecimal language kind of stuff. Simply operating system is providing an interface so then you can interact with your computer. So it is not possible for user to use any computer or even a mobile phone devices without having operating system. Guys, not only now we know Android mobile phones are there, Apple iOS mobile phones are there, BlackBerry phones are there, right? Smartphones. But even a small mobile phones, you take a small mobile phone kind of stuff, it is also having a basic operating system. Okay, so there must be some interface to interact with your device. So this is about a operating system. It is written bottoms up type, means um, hardware, operating system, and user kind of stuff. Same thing I've written here reverse, like hardware part, user, and it is operating system part. Okay, so that is an operating system. What is this operating system architecture? Same thing only, no difference it is. As I said, guys, operating system is interacting with the hardware. Whatever the user programs or user commands, user applications is convert and send to the hardware for hardware understandable language. Means our operating system interact with the hardware. The part of operating system which interacts with the hardware is called a kernel. What is kernel part of operating system is doing? It interacts with the hardware. It manage the hardware related things like a process management, memory management, disk management, okay, device management. These are all done by our kernel only. Kernel part of operating system. And operating system also running in applications, providing user interface, react to the user commands. This part of operating system called a shell. So what is the shell part of operating system is doing? Provide a user interface, run a user applications and their commands. Of course, application command, we should not separate it. You can say application or you can say command, but we should not separate it. Okay, but we can putting everything. Why? Because of the shell actually providing user interface. I'm using Windows. My user interface is GUI, graphical user interface. For example, I'm using Linux. Even for a Windows also, what is the user interface to interact with the system, to give a command or to run an application? So in a GUI, you can use directly graphical interface. Like I want to open a Google Chrome browser, I want to open a Microsoft Edge browser, I want to open a Notepad, I want to read the file. So directly I can open it and select it. Okay. But in a Linux, Unix based environments, generally there are CLI based environment. So user interfaces are first one is CLI and GUI type is also there. Of course, TUI is also there. Terminal based user interface is also there. Graphical user interface, command line interface. What is this command line interface? You can give information or a task or maybe run a command. Like you can see, I put a dir command. What are my current directory contents? For example, I'm going to D drive and I'm going to see what are the files are there. I want to read one of the file, then how to read. So like see, this is the content of that host file it is. Okay. So I can create a file, I can able to read the file, I can create a directories, I can run a certain task in this one. I can manage disk management, the process management kind of stuff also. I can do it with a command prompt. So that is a command line interface. You can give or you can run an application, you can give a command to you want to change settings, you want to do some administration things, you can use with a CLI. Same as with a GUI also. TUI is a little different. So TUI is a command line based interface, but more interactive type, more interactive. Okay. So earlier days there is a command called edit. Maybe you can see in a old style as turbo C++. You type one program, like you open and you type a C program, then you want to save it, you have to go to file, like a alt F, I think so. You have to go to alt F, then select save new file and give the file name, and then you have to run it. So then again you have to go press F5 kind of stuff. So that is a terminal based user interface type, means it is more interactive to do things like a boxes kind of stuff. It's not pure GUI, not a completely CLI type also. Maybe if you have that Turbo C world style idea, then it is this. Again, guys, operating system, two parts. Kernel part and shell part. Kernel part of operating system is interact with your hardware, your CPU, RAM, motherboard, hard disk, your NIC cards, your adapters, your drivers, printers, everything is interacted by kernel only. Without a kernel, we can't interact with the hardware. Shell part of operating system provide a interface to the users, and you can to run a commands or to run an applications and provide environment to run different type of applications. That is shell part. Okay. So user interfaces are GUI, CLI, and TUI. Same thing I've written, guys. This is the diagram. Usually, if you are learning Linux, Unix kind of stuff, this diagram is available. Like a bottom in a center hardware, kernel, shell. Okay, kernel interacts with the hardware, shell interacts with the user. Shell and kernel will communicate while, for example, user given a command understand by shell, convert into kernel understandable language. Kernel will be understand that and give it to hardware. Hardware will process it and give it to kernel. Kernel to shell. Shell to the user or user screen. Okay. But in a Windows, while you are learning Windows Server or Windows 10 kind of stuff, this diagram is there. People don't show. It does not mean Windows operating system does not have kernel and shell. Maybe names are different, but the operating system means there is a kernel, there is a shell. Two are important. Why Windows don't have? Because of you cannot manage directly a kernel, or you cannot program the kernel part or a shell part also. Okay, directly can't change the default kernel and shell in the Windows operating system. You do not have any access to it. You can't see those direct files also. Anyway, guys, what is a kernel? Interact with the hardware. Kernel manages hardware management, disk management, process management, network management, memory management, entirely say device management. Okay, it is a device management also, it will do it. Any device, audio drive, video card, or anything will be managed by your kernel part. Shell part of operating system interact with the user, provide user interface, runs user applications. And when you see this kernel and shell, most of the topics are related to this Linux and Unix. In that one, we can able to change or manage this kernel and shell parts of operating system directly. Of course, again, Linux and Unix, we have a shell that is called a bash shell, which is we are currently using the shell interface is bash shell, born again shell. Not only bash shell, guys, there is a different type of shells also there. SST, T shell, K shell, C shell kind of stuff also available. So as I said, user interface is command line interface, graphical user interface, text-based or terminal-based user interfaces. Guys, understand up to here what is an operating system? Two parts of operating system.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Okay,
Yes, sir.
okay, very good. Here it is, types of operating system. Different types of operating system. I didn't saying different operating system. Different operating system means Windows, Linux, Unix, their flavors, iOS or Android. Okay, so like a different operating system, Mac OS, not different operating system. It's like a operating systems. That's it. Or a different operating systems also you can say. But it is a types of operating system. In that one, first one is SOS, second one is NOS. Simple operating system, desktop-based operating system it is. Simple operating system. It's generally desktop-based operating systems like MS-DOS, Windows XP, Windows 7, Windows 10 means usually client-side applications are. I'm using Windows 10 means I'm a simple operating system. Network operating system, server-side operating system. Windows servers, Linux servers, Unix server operating system. Guys, what is network operating systems or a server operating system which provide a service through network? Okay, it provides, its a purpose is to provide a service through networks. It works in a network only. Without network, that operating system is also waste. Like I purchase with a 5 lakhs rupees or 10 lakhs rupees, almost 6 lakhs, I think. So the one single license from Windows server. I purchase a Windows server and I install in a machine and there is no network. It is waste. Okay, because it's network operating system through network, it provides services. DHCP service, DNS services, like simple operating system. Simple operating system is a desktop-based operating system, MS-DOS, Windows XP, Windows 7, Windows 10. User and task types of operating system. User and task types of operating systems in the user and task wise. Single user, single task, multi-user, single user, multi-user, multitask operating system. Of course, again, SOS, simple operating system, basically desktop-based operating systems called a simple operating system. Windows 7, Windows 10, Windows 11, these are all comes under simple operating system. Because we take in service from the server. So it is desktop-based operation. Network operating system, we are getting a service from server, right? So in that server, we install a server operating system. It's a network operating system. User and a task-based, user-wise, task-wise operating system. Single user, single task. It means only one user can able to access and only one command can able to give at a time. Only one task only can able to. For example, DOS. Guys, this is not DOS. This is Windows only. It's a command prompt in the Windows operating system. Windows command prompt. DOS command prompt is look like this one only. Okay, so but here it is single user, single task. Only one user at a time can log in, can able to do only one task at a time. That is called a single user, single task. Example, Microsoft Task. Single user multitask. Single user multitask. Windows servers, Windows entire Windows Server operating systems, Windows 10, Windows 11, these are all comes under single user multitask. Means only one user at a time can log into the PC. So I am logging to this PC, so other users cannot able to log into my PC while I'm logging. either directly or remotely. Only one user at a time can log into the PCs. Multiple tasks. I am running multiple things. I'm running Chrome, Paint, Command Prompt, Teams, and as well as a Microsoft Edge. So we can do multiple tasking at a time when multiple tasking. Okay, so but not multi-users accessing. Multi-user multitasking. Multiple users can log into same PC, either physically directly or maybe through remotely. So multi-user multitask. The best example is Windows and Linux operating system. Guys, understand types of operating system, user-wise, task-wise.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Understand.
Very good.
Yes, sir.
In these two, I don't want to explain. One is real time, another one is a distributed. I don't explain, just I'm giving a names only. But one point for real time operating system, that is I want to tell. Generally, we are using a general purpose operating systems like Windows operating system, Linux operating system, Unix based operating system. But in a certain places, like for example, um, certain device manufacturing, user interface related, they want to design some operating system to interact with their a specific type of like satellites. Okay, so example satellites are some IoT kind of devices. So they want to design an operating system which is not it's a common operating system for multiple devices. Okay, the specific device, specific purpose, people design an operating system called a real-time operating system. Okay, like if we are using a Windows operating system, if you are using a Windows operating system, for example, no one knows when it is going to update. Okay, heavy operating system, multiple features are there. So I don't want to need all these features for my device or a machine or my purpose. I don't want all these features. I want what are the features are required to work with my system. So that's why so people design a real-time operating system. So anybody can design their own operating system for their purpose. Distributed already I told I don't say. Usually for running a multiple applications in a different system, we use distributed operating system. That is not even a correct statement. Try yourself, kind of stuff. Mobile operating system. That is, we are all using mobile operating system. So currently, we are using a Android and iOS. Even that is also I told already. This can be one of the common question interviews. Android and iOS differences. Not only that one, guys. Symbian, Nokia related companies. Symbian, Tizen from the Samsung, BlackBerry from BlackBerry, Windows Phone from the Microsoft Windows. Okay. So the mobile operating system currently mostly famous is Android and then iOS. Okay. So what is the difference between that one? iOS is developed and distributed by Apple's only. It only works in Apple laptops and Apple mobile phones kind of stuff. Android is multi-device support. Multiple vendors can able to take Android and design a user interface for it, and they can access for their system. Okay. Yeah. Already I told what is a desktop operating system, guys. This is my Windows 10 is a desktop operating system. I can run an applications, I can play a games, I do for data processing, multimedia editing, web browsing, programming. Okay, all these things you can play audio, video kind of stuff here. We can do on our system. Okay, so you can make your PC, you will make your desktop as a client. or a end user device. Our devices, we call it as a end user device or a client PC. It can be a client to the in a domain or a client to the server. Next, server operating system. Server operating systems support server applications and also having some built-in features. For example, Microsoft Server having so many built-in features. Like it can be become web server, it can be become a DHCP server, DNS server kind of stuff. Okay, so it can have its built-in features and run an application. For example, I have a server. I can make the server as a mail server, Exchange server kind of stuff. Okay, so here it is in a server operating system by installing a specific applications or a built-in server. So we have a different types of servers. So here it is. Server provide a service, client access the service. So server level, server operating system are either using their built-in features or running a server applications. These are the different type of servers. DHCP server, DNS server, VPN server, web server, file server, mail server, authentication server, proxy server, remote desktop server, deployment server, database server. So different type of servers. Not only this, there are so many servers are there. Currently, I'm giving a normal. So this is about a basic introduction to operating system. Okay, guys, we'll see Windows and Linux differences. Um, in a 10 minutes, after 10 minutes, just have some refreshment and come back. Just 10 minutes. I will start. 10 maximum 10 to 15 minutes. Okay. Take a break and we will continue. So slowly, because these statements are important. 10 minutes break means compulsory. Even I have said 10 times, maybe you won't get in your mind. So compulsory read these things, guys. Small sentences scores better way. That's why I said what is an operating system and different parts of operating, the kernel and shell. What is kernel? What is shell? And different types of operating systems. That is important. Okay. After a break, anyway, we'll discuss about Windows and Linux.